to say. Make a nice profile, they said to me. Social media is the place to be. They say, mommy, advertise on the net. You'll see how much customers you go get. I tell myself, let me hush my mouth. That's young people think them gonna know about. Everything start off hunky-dory, chatting with friends and family. Suddenly the whole thing spin. I could not believe what I was seeing. A woman said she pants on fire. A student threatening she teacher. So here and fighting like they gone mad. No me even boast about the sex they had. It's fun in class. They young and crass with no shame. But who to blame? I hold my head, look, I want to ball. This media is social at all. I start to get frightened, the things I see. It looking more antisocial to me. MySpace, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Badoo. I get confused, didn't know what to do. Social websites of all different kinds. The amount I see really blow my mind. I guess I'm good info, I go lie, but still some things really make me cry. Them monsters brutalizing babies. For cybercrime, call the police, please. My friends and all try convincing me social media is the place to be. So reluctantly, in spite of the pain, I'm going to check another website again. I find my mother, cousin, daughter. Social media. Trade some books, my case a smarter. Social media. Cool children fighting like they're gone mad. Social media. Some even posting about the sex they had. It's fun in class. They're young and crass with no shame. I say who to blame. Long time was Gazette and Inquirer. Now all kind of ish on social media. It getting more frightening the things I see. It looking more antisocial to me. Oh, they say it's social. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Bacchanal. Girl, get on board, don't be choppity. A good friend of mine was talking to me. She said, Adana, do not be fooled. Social media is a powerful tool. It's a channel for communication and a real good source of information. Sound as overdue, I won't deny. But in spite of all that, you'll give it a try. You have to make it work for you. Don't get caught in the Hannabaloo. So I gone on with a different view. Let me see what the social media could do. I see a woman state a protest. It was social cyber unrest. Social media. A victim of domestic violence. Social media. Decide to break his silence. Tell the truth. Teach the youth. Learn to cook or read a book. But laugh and cry living together. I still don't trust that social media. I'll be just like Kermit, sipping my tea. But me again caught up in that chummy. Social media. Check the scene. Check the scene. Is a delusional reality? Delusional. It's like a plague. A real plague. Affecting the society. Social media. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you, thank you. There was a part on the bio that my good lady left for me to say. And one of the things that I used to do before I began to sing calypso was sing jazz. And I was fortunate to perform alongside Hugh Masekela on his last album that he did in collaboration with Siparia Deltones and Trinidad and Tobago, called From Siparia to Soweto. So you could give him a round of applause for that. You like my clothes? Give me a round of applause for that. And I made it myself, so give me my next one. But my name is Lady Adan, and I could sing anything. So I'm going to do something with one of the calypsos because jazz is Kaiso too, right? Let's go. I hear a song. I hear a cry. Some say that it's wrong, but I can't see why. All that I know is when I hear it, it fills me so, fills me so, fills me so, and I feel a spirit. I heard a wise man once say that we'll be stuck in a pit if on the back of progress we try to sit. So tell them people, I say, take my calypso music to the mountain. To the mountain, yes. Let every drop of earth hear when I sing. Cause out of them backyard, calypso rising, 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 yeah. We throwing off that old time style. We putting on a brand new smile. We rising out of the ghetto of third world stagnation. We're reaching for tomorrow with a world vibration. My calypso heading for stardom real quick because it is world music. No rhythm and blues, yes, look, jazz and reggae. I said they all pay their dues in much the same way. Yet every day, they keep evolving, finding more and more ways to keep on revolving. You see, I heard a wise man once say, we'll be stuck in a pit if on the back of progress we try to sit. So tell them people, I said, take my calypso music to the mountain, the mountain, the mountain, yes. Let every drop of earth hear when I sing. Because out of them backyard, calypso rising. We're throwing up the old time style. We're putting on a brand new smile. We're rising out of the ghetto of third world stagnation. And we're reaching for tomorrow with a world vibration. My calypso heading for stardom real quick because it is world music. So hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Calypso rising and taking its place in the world. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm and fill my soul. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Now this song was born through chains and tears, but still we traveled on through freedom, yes. No more a song just to please the master, no. We traveled on, and yes, we crossed the river. I heard a wise man say that colonialism will reduce culture to all talk and become. Tell them not my kind, so take my calypso music to the mountain, yes, let every drop of earth hear when I say, out of them backyard, calypso rising, we rising, yeah, rising. We throwing up the old time style. We putting on a brand new smile. We rising out of the ghetto of third world stagnation, and we reaching for tomorrow with a world vibration. My calypso heading for stardom real quick, because it is world music. So hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Calypso rising and taking its place in the world. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm and fill my soul. Hit me with the rhythm. Hit me with the rhythm. Now this song was born through chains and tears, but still we traveled on through freedom, yes. No more a song just to please the master, no. We traveled on, and yes, we crossed the river. I heard a wise man say that colonialism will reduce culture to all talk and become. Tell them not my kind, so take my calypso music to the mountain, yes, let every drop of earth hear when I say, out of them backyard, calypso rising, we rising, yeah. We throwing up the old time style, and we putting on a brand new smile. We rising out of the ghetto of third world stagnation, and we reaching for tomorrow with a world vibration. My calypso heading for stardom real quick. Why? We had to do it one more time. My calypso heading for stardom real quick. Why? All right, I will do this one, right? My calypso heading for stardom real quick, because it's world music. Mike Iso.
God, she could sing. God, she could sing. God, she could sing. Oh Lord. I am so glad that I'm West Indian. I'm so glad that I'm Caribbean. When I hear renditions like that, I'm glad God made me a Caribbean person, not just a Guyanese, not just a black man, but a Caribbean person. Calypso, jazz, and a little bit of Orisha, Fatis there. Lady Adana, one of the unsung heroes of Calypso, tremendous voice, tremendous stage personality. She has never won a crown, but she's crowned. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to Politics 101 tonight. It's been a long day. And I was telling GHK in the background as we were preparing to come on that I was tired, but I ain't tired no more. I ain't tired no more. My Calypso rising to stardom real quick because it is world music. And we are world people. Tonight, if Kamala Harris succeeds to the presidency of America, we Caribbean people have something there to rejoice. She's going to be the first president of America. A little bit of Caribbean, a little bit of Indian, a lot of African American, and plenty female spouse. Good evening. I was so glad today when I asked my classes, my two classes, one class on reggae, Bob Marley Reggae and Resistance, and my other class on Introduction to Africana Studies. And I asked my students in both classes, you all vote? Because I get them talking West India now. I say, you all vote? And in both classes, all hands went up. I'm so proud of those young people. They're both first-year classes, so these are 18, 19-year-olds. And they all voted. Even if a miracle happens tonight and that man wins, I think America and the world would have won because that lady has galvanized America and the world. Welcome to Politics 101. I'm sure all of you have voted already, and I know many of you would be going to follow the coverage. I will too. So we're not going to detain you all extra tonight. We're not going to detain you all extra, but welcome. Marsha Clifton, Lady Adana, you all check out her music. Check out her music. Check out her music. She's dynamic sister. Welcome to Politics 101 on Tuesday night. And GHK Lall is here. And let's go straight to Brother Lall, because you all have been hearing a lot from me recently. I still get a lot of cards coming in, congratulating me for last week Friday show. One of my students said, Dr. Hines, I couldn't understand everything you were saying. Come my students sometime, unknowing to me they tune in. But you were real pissed off. I said, well, why you talk to your professor using obscene language? I said, Dr. Hines, you use some obscene language. I said, what? You used the B word. I said, I did. She said, I know what one B word. Dennis Booker, the student said, what is boundary? I said, not boundary, it's boundary. Oh my goodness. She had me cracking up. She said, "What is boundary? I know what's the other B word, but what is boundary?" And she said, "Really? Was the president of the country?" I said, "No, the vice president I was talking to." Oh, I'm still getting cards. I full up all of me house, full up with cards, congratulating me for putting abusing Panda one. That one. I know you're gonna abuse back Thursday, but I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Me waiting for you. It's time he stop it. It's time he stop abusing people. Because when he abuse people, it's not Jack Dio abusing people. It's the government of Guyana that is abusing people. And yes, I got a real doctorate. I write a thesis. I write a dissertation. And yes, Clive Thomas can write papers at the university. I want Jack Dio produce a paper with the name next to it that he write a creative thing. If you people today, tell you, Dr. Hines, challenge you to produce a paper of any sort with his name next to it. He cussing people because they can write university paper. Jealousy. Jealousy. And using the bully pulpit of the government. But I come from Boxing Bottom Station. And if you want to roll in the mud, I can roll in the mud too. It's not my preference, but Jack Dio has to stop abusing people. He has to stop abusing people. And all of a sudden, he has this thing that he abusing gay people. And I don't know why, what is his preoccupation now with gay people. But he got gay people in his cabinet. He got gay people in his party, and I will defend them against his assault on them because they can't defend themselves. Good evening. I am not abusing out tonight. If you all think you all gonna get me to abuse out again, I'm not. The last abuse out was the other one in Infanta Scali. And I did tell myself that's the last time I would abuse out. But Jack Dio get me going. Well, I hope he stopped now. I hope he's respectful of his office and respectful of the people of Guyana. Good evening. Welcome to Politics 101. I think we're ready to roll. Let me bring in Mr. GHK Lall. Brother Gabriel.
Good evening. Good evening,
You are
everyone.
the angel.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I think we got some demons to deal with around here in this tongue. So the angelic part has got for either stay or it's got to rise to archangel status.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Lord. Gabriel, you know, I of all the public commentators, I would think that you are the most respectful of all of we. Because you just call the man Dr. Jack Dio and Dr. Ali. Yet today I read a piece in was with Demerara Waves, where a certain professor emeritus said that you just cuss Jack Dio. And why are these people lying on you like that? I wish you would cuss some more, but you just call the man doctor. When the man is not a doctor, he's not even a quack. He's not even a quack. Because you say a quack doctor. But he's not even a quack doctor. Why is it that that man feels that he has the license in Guyana to abuse people and to get others running behind him and abusing people personally? Talk to us.
Well, it goes back to what Good evening again, everyone. It goes back to what Dr. Bertram Ramcharan said, the exercise of an autocrat.
Mhm.
He didn't say that, but he spoke about creeping shades of autocracy. Is that I must have my way, and I will say what I want to say, my way, to anybody, any damn way that I feel. And you got to take it. But what I know is that when you get right back into his face, when you get back into the face of his people, and I don't bother with them anymore, I compel them to read what I write and
There you
what I
go.
speak.
There you go.
I have no interest in what they say. In fact, for me, they don't exist. I will not dignify them by recognizing their existence. But let me go to the main man. Let me go to the main man. For too long, he has swaggered and gotten away with it, and trampled upon people and got away with it. And I said to myself, this is one man ain't gonna back away from you. You might have been a former president, you are a vice president, you're a man of power, you're a man of standing, and so on and so forth. And to your point, you represent a national government. Therefore, I will demand of you, sir, that you carry, comport yourself in that manner. And I will force you to do so. And I will not allow you to drag me in the gutter with you. You people could lie on me, they could fabricate story on me. I don't care. But my duty to the people who raised me up, the village that raised me up, black and brown, black and Indian, and Amerindian, is to respect their contributions to where I am today by speaking to Dr. Jagdeo, Mr. Jagdeo, Vice President Jagdeo, in my language. And my language, even if I say so myself, is profound. You don't see stop. You don't see stop coming after me. He talk about my church. He talk about Wall Street. He talk about America. He talk about Gold Board. He talk about this. And every step of the way, I say, here are my cards. Where are yours? Where are yours? You go on your program and talk as a former head of state. I hear rumors. You're a former president and you talking about goddamn rumors? Huh? That's how low you are. That's how obscene you have made yourself, sir. I mean, come on, man. You might I recognize that you're small, but you can't be that small. You can't be that low. So me you know who lying on who and who can make up story and inflate story or whatever. I will not abuse anybody because it is inimical to my calling. It's inimical to my belief. It's inimical to my standards, to my group. It will insult you, Dr. Hines, and it will insult this audience that they're gonna say, man, you know, GHK expect better from you. Left that to me. Left the bad talk and the rat talk and the dirty talk to me, right? I is a street man and I's a thing. It's not that I'm a street man too, but here it is. But you know, you just carry yourself, maintain the thing there. So therefore, I look, Mr. Jagde, Dr. Jagde has gone from worse to worse. We can give you though. You want me call you doctor? That make you feel good, my brother? I'm gonna call you doctor. Here it is. Although I know I'm making myself a farce, a clown too. Hear this part. You don't demand respect. Respect is earned. Respect is bestowed upon you. But them banner they say want respect. They want to be revered. They don't want obedience. They want obeisance. They want people to grovel before them. They want people to prostrate. They want we forget pigtail at the back of the head and be like the Chinese before the Mandarins. We must prostrate ourselves. Well, I'll tell you, folks, that has its own people, not this Panahi. That got your own people. You can do what you want. You got all the power. You got all the organs of the state. You've got all the resources of the state, and you got all these other people who have to earn their keep, who have to prove their merit every day. So look at me. Look at me. I come and I talk on this program. Look at you, Dr. Hines. You want me to come twice a month on this, bro? I said, man, let me try the one thing. I ain't able with that. Some other people say they want to come twice. Must be something I'm saying right or doing right. I ain't attacking nobody. But here's my point. Here's my point. I am comfortable in what I put out and what I share, and I've shared that with you. And I'm saying that to those who, whether they go up on wherever channel they go up on, you have a right to do that, but at least be truth, man, be truthful to yourself. Be, be- get some standard of yourself. Don't be a chip off the Jagdale block. Yes, he pay you nicely and he give you a duty free and God bless you. But here's the thing: at least carry yourself with some decency, man. By your decency, inspire him to decency. By your standard, inspire him to some standard of when he look at Guyanese, he don't look at them like how Donald Trump look at black people. And when I say black people, I mean people who look like me too. You understand me? So therefore, if he demanding respect, I am commanding a bigger respect from him. And you must too, Dr. Hanson. We all must. Before I come on to this program, we may talk about corruption. And I see the Minister of Governance or whatever, Parliamentary Affairs, Gail Teixeira, long-standing political veteran. She was addressing some group, and she said that the culture has to change. And I absolutely agree. The culture has to change in terms of how we deal with one another. It doesn't matter PPP, PNC, WPA, AFC, whatever, newcomer, old timer. We must have not only before the white people, we must got some respect and yes sir and no sir and all this business. We must conduct ourselves in a manner that make all Guyanese proud. And I think that Dr. Jagdeo, Mr. Jagdeo, Vice President Jagdeo knows this. And if he doesn't know it, we must remind him of it. We must educate him about it, and he must deliver it. We must make sure that he delivers it. We got the PPP intelligentsia. I'll give them that. Call the man and say, man, you can't go on like this. You can't carry on like this. And then you can't come to me and expect me for carry on, for run after you with this. No, 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 no. Use the language to beat up people. But don't go up on these abusive, strident, petulant, and I could go on down the line here, but we can cut out, we can stop it out there. Don't get so vituperative. Don't get so vindictive. You know, get control of yourself, man. You know, hold yourself in check. Carry yourself like a former president. Carry yourself like a vice president. We got all these white people here, all these foreigners here. Stand up and show them that Guyanese are dignified people, that we are about the democracy that we claim to exist here, that we are not about the autocracy of Dr. No, sir, because we allow people to speak no matter how obnoxious they may be, no matter how unpleasant that thought may be to us. And when we can't do that, and when we have to retreat into the sanctuary, went into that strait of abuse and retaliatory impulses and strikes, and then we're just dragging the society down into a place where it really doesn't belong. I come from a standard. We were poor, but I come from a standard. Say here, a poor but a proud, a poor but a proud. And hear this, and I'm going to hold on to that till the day I die, right? I'm still poor, but I'm more proud now, right? I'm prouder now. Hear the thing. So therefore, I think there's no call for this. What's the point being proven? What's the point that I could, excuse me, folks, I could pee further than you? Is this what it's come down to? This macho expression? Are we talking about gay? We are talking people about gay now. I hear this. I don't listen to the man. I mean, let me look at myself in the mirror, right? Let me look at myself in the camera. And I'm grateful to you, Dr. Hines, my brother David, for saying that he got gay people. And I know them gay people. I have received reliable information that them gay people is the people behind life in Guyana who attack me, who slander me. But here's this. I will defend their orientation, because at the end of the day, regardless what they are, LBGTQ and so on and so forth, they are my brothers and sisters. And I ain't retreating from that. And I ain't walking back that. Right? Whether they're PNC, PPP, American, Guyanese, European, whatever, they are my brothers and I will be steadfast in that belief. Or then, if I'm disrespectful to Jack Dale, then I'll be less the man than I should be before you and that I thought about myself.
GHK Lall tonight. GHK, you mentioned Trump, and I want your take. There are some Guyanese in New York. Let me be blunt. Some PPP supporters, Indian Guyanese, who are urging their countrymen and women to vote for Trump because they said that Trump helped to restore democracy in Guyana. Talk to me. Talk to me.
All right. They have a right to urge. The people got a right for listen to them, whoever listened to them, and to vote for whom they want to. Kamala Harris, not vote at all, they should vote, or Donald Trump. Now, I want to say this. If a man could go on the public record more than once and say that and express his distaste, his dripping, his dripping scorn, his continuing condescension and contempt for people who look like me, for people who speak like me, for people who come from the place where I come from. Somebody got to help me here. How in God's name I could vote for a man like that? Regardless what he do in Guyana or is claimed to have done, being responsible to have done, how could I in good conscience face myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I could find it somewhere in myself because of the issues to vote for this man. I just can't. I just can't. And I pity those who have such low self-esteem, such low regard for themselves that they can say, I'm going to vote for Trump. You alluded to that, and I want to put it right there in this context. A different white man, a different Republican man, maybe the scales are looked at differently. But we have now on the Democratic side, Kamala Harris. She comes with her style, she comes with her strengths, with her limitations. She comes with the Joe Biden legacy, and that's baggage. There are some pluses, there are some minuses. But there's something about Kamala Harris that makes me identify very, very closely with her. And look, let's face it, it's the politics of Guyana. Kamala Harris is black and she's Indian. She's Douglas in we parlance. Yes, Jamaican and Indian from the subcontinent and African American and all of that, which you and I identify with in our own ways. So here was an opportunity for me to build on the Obama precedent and say, given you've got this particular Republican candidate, not just obnoxious, but reprehensible in every sense of the word and to the ultimate degree. And I've got this woman here, this sister, in this political cauldron. It's a layup for me. It's a layup for me. So let's go back to the beginning of the question. I pity those Guyanese, PPP Guyanese, you can say, well, because of A in 2020, therefore B occurs in 2024. And I really cannot connect the logic. I cannot extrapolate from 2020 to today, and particularly given what happened in January 2021. Listen, part of my navel string, let me say it the Guyanese way, is buried in America. Yes, it's there in Guyana, most of it, but there's a part of it in America after the length of time I've spent there. So when I see this man here, born there, a former president, desecrating the institutions that have been instilled in me, and for which I have some pride in, then I mean we've gone a far way here. We've got to stop thinking in this narrow provincial manner, this parochial way, that because he do this for the PPP, therefore I must do this for he today. Because he was there then, I mean, I wish to, I do not think, I hope that I never become, and I pray to you, the audience here, and the audience that is somewhere distant and is critical, we are not this narrow minded as a people. We were not created as human beings to be this one dimensional, folks. That, okay, it's this, it's narrowed down to elections, regardless of who claims what or who did or didn't do what. We are more multifaceted than that. And I think that this is a good test for us to say, what does Trump really represent? Look, I know we didn't really, I think, had this in the background of our mind when we were thinking about what to talk about on this program. But here we are on November, on this Tuesday in November, this first Tuesday, and because the implications are so vast, David, we've got it. We can't help but talking about them, because a Trump victory, what is a Trump victory predicated on? Or a Trump presence. No, let's go to victory, potential victory, presence, the place where he's at now, that he's such a close contestant. Yes, abortion is a contributor, but a bigger contributor in my mind is immigration. The burning issue is immigration, which is one of the problems in the UK and to a greater extent down in the Europe, in the continent, in the mainland. Now, immigration. Let me boil it down into the Creolese. We've got too much black people around here, and the widest definition of black people, whether they're in the workplace, taking away with job, whether they're in the private clubs, whether they're in the golf course, whether they are in our concert halls, whether they are where we play our chamber music, whether they are in our universities, and whether they damn well are masked at our borders. So we hear about the invasion of America and the browning of America, and America and the white people are going to be a minority in 2050 and whatever else. And this is where Trump comes in. And the whole thing, I think, is predicated on a raw, a raw racism, the ugly underbelly of America that I really don't want to see and to identify with. Look, I'm sorry, folks, and I don't think there's anything I need to apologize for. But I can't see myself voting for Trump. I don't even want to think about the man or talk about the man, more than I should. And I don't see, in 100 years of every 4 years, I can't see myself ever thinking or wanting to vote for this man because of what he represents to people like me. What he represents to people like me who wants to get to the United States from an oil-rich country. What he represents to people who from Trinidad and Jamaica and from India and China who wants to get to the United States. Come on, look, this is what this is all about. Yes, economics, the economy, and so on and so forth, because America is such a big country. But immigration is the one where I think the exit polls are going to show, and they'll show an economy. 7 states, a couple of states have said that. But in my mind, this is what about why so many of these people are around. Well, why did you have the laws, and why don't you get the will to put them in place so that we don't have to come to this place today where immigration becomes such a flashpoint for in an elections. There has to be many more things in a country as big as America. Trump, I regret that my fellow Guyanese, whether PPP, PNC, Indian, black, otherwise, could come to this stage where you are actually endorsing Trump and then encouraging others to, well, you go and vote for Trump. Do we really have to get there? Is our own hate, is our own instincts towards the recriminatory so deep, so compelling that we have got to take it into America now and refer to 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and say, let this be your determinant? I really am appalled about that, and there's no other way to say that.
Gabriel, one of the mysteries of early reggae music, and perhaps still is, it was the fact that white people latched on to reggae, white people in England, white people in America, latched on to reggae music before the wider black community in America got hold of the music. Bob Marley only got accepted by black America a couple of months before he died. He opened a concert for the Commodores. His people didn't want, they said Commodore should open for Bob. But Bob said evil thing. He became the main act at Madison Square Garden there. And the mystery was why white people like a music that was beating up on them, because reggae in its lyrics and its origins is anti-colonial, right? And that was always and still is the mystery. I discuss it in my classes with my students, white students, black students, and we try to work it through. And sometimes I have psychology students and they take us down that path and so on. But I say that because I want to get to the point that in England that you mentioned and I mentioned, the United Kingdom, the Conservative Party elected an East Indian man, Sunak, as their leader. He lose the election big, they kick him out. And they have now elected
A
a
woman.
black woman from Nigeria, Nigerian roots, as the leader, not of the Labour Party, of the Conservative Party. So here is a conservative, I would say conservatives by their very history, tend to be anti-people of color, anti-black, and so on and so forth. But they elected an Indian man as the leader and now a black woman. Gabriel, I suspect you know something about psychology. Who I interviewed. I interviewed a reggae singer and I asked the question and he says masochism, right? Or something. And I think, you look like you know something about psychology. Tell us what's happening here.
Well, I sure know anything about psychology, but I think, let me confess that freely. But what I think is at work here is that the Conservative Party is trying to undo, is trying to re-image itself. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but let's go back to the 1960s. Enoch Powell.
Yes.
Enoch Powell, and I mean, the man was the Trump before the Trump.
Long time,
right?
long before Trump joined Enoch Powell.
So the Conservative Party, I noticed you didn't come close there. The Conservative Party was anti-immigration and anti-immigration. Let me say this. Let me pause for a moment. I don't think America would have so much problems with immigration from the European countries. The heritage is Eurocentric, right? The Nordic state countries, etc. Right? So let's come back here. The Eastern European countries, the Slavs and the Poles, etc., there are causes of some consternation in the UK. But it so happens I had two pieces written, and I sent the one from brown to black. Where are we going? And then I said, hey, listen, I got this one here on Trump. And today's the election. Which one? They said, okay, Trump, right? So that one is already in the pipeline. I said from brown to black, from Sunak to Badenoch, right? And from brown to black, the brown bomber, the one who should have been the brown bomber, turned out to be a pale imitation. And these are like the first lines. What is this all about? And now here it is, you come asking me about putting me on the spot here with psychology and all these things. So here's this. I think the Conservative Party is trying to remake itself and to be a milder, more modern, more acceptable version of what it used to be. You had these dour looking men, Edward Heath, right? And what was it? The one with the pipe. Who was that? John Major or Callahan or one, James Scott?
No,
You had the
Callan was Labour.
Labour, right? But you had a
Yeah.
guy with a pipe.
Ah, God,
Right?
I know. Macmillan, not Macmillan.
All
But
right.
I
But
know what
then,
you're talking about, yes.
yeah, but anyhow, so you had these guys and they're like, look, colored people ain't got a chance with them. This is the wrong game.
Yeah.
But now here it is, you have Sunak, and I think that was more of the business, the money push, the money club push. But Kami, and I hope I got this right, Badenoch, that one caught me off guard. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, let's not forget this. Psychology aside, she is a right winger, and she beat a right winger to get to where she is. Congratulations to her. I'm proud of her, right? So, I mean, I think this sister has risen to the heights here, just like Rishi Sunak did. Although I thought from the beginning the odds were against him succeeding. I think the odds of the Conservative Party succeeding are pretty remote right now. Labour has ready to self-destruct, but in putting a black woman, the percentage of the population of the UK colored is not that, how shall I say, significant. You've got what, about 7-8% Asian and about 3-4% black,
Black,
right?
yeah.
So you're talking 10% there. And what's this? I look, psychology aside, I think the Conservative Party is trying to remake itself. I think she is going to be here. Here's this part. See, this is where I started out on what I wrote. She is going to be the spear carrier for the Conservative Party for immigration. And we are
Yes.
back to immigration
Back to
because that's a burning issue in the UK. Forget about climate change and cancel culture and political correctness and all of that. Immigration is the big thing that lights a fire under the Britons, right? Under the white folks again. So we're the parallel with America, and that's why we have these right wing groups making electoral inroads in Europe. So again here, so they put a black woman for do their dirty job. So if you want psychology, that one give you. You ask for it and give it to you. They put a black woman and say, you go there and you do the work. Right? You go and clamp down. You people from Nigeria, let them bust you ass, right? Right? And we can say, well, is look, what you're gonna accuse me of, right? So that's me answer to you.
Nigel Price beat you to it because Nigel called it early. He said
Uh,
she's a token, and she did her to do the dirty work for them.
uh,
Um,
But in
yeah,
my writing, I say when you want a dirty job, you get a black person to do it. And when I say black,
exactly.
you don't know. So they try with Rishi first, and he
Uh-huh.
went up to the job. He get tangled up. I know how this young lady is going to do, but I think it's the same thing at work here. You go there and you do the heavy lifting for me.
And GHK, let's come back home. You were here last month, and I think the president Ali had just announced his cash grants, his $100,000. I can't. Anyhow, anyhow, a lot has happened since then. There's been a lot of debate, um, less about the cash grant and more about what the PPP's intentions are. I think that's where the conversation is at the moment. First of all, no plan. So you can go one day to give in households, to the next day to say individuals, to the next day saying, I ain't legislating because I don't want nobody bug me how to spend this money. And that's where we are. Um, from your standpoint, what this whole thing about the cash grant tells us. about the PPP and where it intends to take Guyana.
Well, they're using money as a weapon.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. They're using money to create a dependency. They're using money to hold Guyanese hostage. You come out and you say 200,000 household, and we get caught up in definition of household. Come out and say 100, and it's going to be more people. 18 of January and all of that. My point is that listen, Guyanese need some relief now. But when people like me were talking about relief, cost of living, the opposition spoke about it. No, y'all know y'all talking about. Look at the inflation numbers. 4 years. Look at the inflation numbers. And you look at the inflation numbers, man, we doing better than the best in the world in containing food inflation. Food inflation. The word construction, the time where people got to eat. Can't eat meal. Good? Hear this one. Out of the blue, after putting out your statistics and your experts to defend or exaggerate and to deny and denigrate what people like me put out and other people put out, you come out and holler. Let me settle for the 100,000. And then now the president says 200, then 100, and then the vice president come and say, well, it gonna be for them people outside too. This thing has lost. The PPP has made clear that this is no longer about cash, about relief for struggling Guyanese with food, buying food. Forget about inflation. With providing for themselves, putting food in the pot, in the pot, in the plate. This the timing is about elections. The foreign component is about elections, and the dilly dallying now is about politics. And when you take a man, and I hope I'm not being disrespectful here, please correct me, hold me in check if I go out of bounds. And when you have a man like Dr. Jagdev involved in the cash grant, the policy man tell him a procedure, you know that we peeping over the canal, we peeping over the cliff, the precipice, and all it takes is a little puff of wind for knock we over there, right? So when he gets involved in it in the measure, say, well, okay, it's going to be this. And he start talking about Ministry of Finance up. And we really want to get it done properly so that the corruption is minimized. You know you're there in big trouble. And we are in no hurry. Well, I'm putting it, we want to get it right. So we'll take our time. You don't know that what started out as a fix has become a bigger fix, has become fix squared, right? With anything you put in Jagdev hand or Jagdev put his hand on, the politics take over any kind of purity the thing had, any kind of profoundness the thing, promise the thing had. And this is where we are. Politics, elections. Here, this election ain't going to this time next year, right? It's too far. I think I write something where I say, hey, listen, if you give the people the money now, and you call the election 8 months from now, they don't forget. Now, is who get the thing again? You forget? You gotta give them thing
You
close.
gotta
So
give
now
them hope. Yeah.
you gotta give them more. You either don't want to, you either keep the thing close, So now you're coming about, well, you kind of hemming and hawing. Oh, we got to get the app, and we've got to get the app right, and so on and so. It's pure politics. It's election. It's an election donation. We given to you, you give back to we. And that's how I see this thing. Look, you could tear this thing wrong and wrong and wrong. I am not. I want to make this clear. God, these men is take these things and distort your words and put and deform what you say for suit yourself. The cash grant, Guyanese people, they're so bad. You put 25,000 in their hand, they're thankful. Let's be frank with ourselves. You tell them 100, oh man. But now you got them hanging. You got the people, when will it be? Month 10 November. So we get something for Christmas. It can be in the middle of December. It can be by the gate. It can be a check. It can be a cash. Who can get cash when this thing, or it can be next year from Ashramani. What is happening here? So I go back to the point I'm saying. You're yanking the chain. Let me use an American expression. You're yanking the chain of the Guyanese people. You're rattling the cage. You're storing them up. But they ain't getting nothing, right? It's like you're making monkeys out of the people, them, excuse me. And that is where we are. And it's all because of the politics and the instinct, the impulse for power that consumes our brother, Dr. Jagdeer, that this is all he can think about. He can't talk to Exxon because the moment he blink an eye at them, hey, you better know your damn place or else you're going to be out of here. The cash grant is about how to keep you in there using we, right? Using the people them, right? You see, he can't release the census thing, but don't let me go there. Here's the story. The fact of the matter, come out to the cash and say, man, look, man, here's the thing, 100, this is how we're going to work. You must know halfway to nowhere there. You look like you know starting the damn thing. Tell the people you can give them the 100, but now you're telling people, here, so let me ask you something. You got to come here, you got to spend 500 US dollar for come here for collect 500, the equivalent of 500 US dollar. There's 100,000 is 500 US dollars. So what sense to make? What is that about, sir? You help me, right? I the money man. You the
It is
politician.
about paying the people passage to come home. They pay $800 from New York for the ticket. He spent 500. They're gonna go to Freedom House and collect the next 300. And when they leave, because they got registered and they got get ID card. And when they're leaving to go back to New York, they left the ID card at Freedom House. And
they go from there.
Yes. We know the last time Madam Chairman wrote to Mr. James, the immigration man, and said sending across 203 names of people who voted, and we rather suspect that they were not in the country in the vote. And Mr. James sent back to she and said 178 of these 203 people voted, but they never entered the country.
Okay.
And they sent another batch, and 80-something% of the other batch the police fined, voted, and they weren't here. And she didn't send the rest because there were other batches. And when the PPP came to power, the Attorney General asked for the rest, and she come turn over the rest to me. And now they're asking him where there, he don't know where it is. So when the PPP asking the PNC for SOPs, the PNC asking them, what about the IDs? Gabriel, on election day, I was running the road, as they said. And we get a call say, at Strathspey School, primary school. They got PPP people in a mini bus sharing out ID cards. They make the mistake of sending me. And as soon as they see me, they recognize me. The Speedway. When I going in, someone who I suspect is a support of the PPP say, better, I ain't there them a vote plenty. The biggest miracle in Guyana is that all the defenders of democracy don't talk about that. But it's there. The 2020 election, one side said one attempted murder. And the other side said, but you commit murder. Because they got 47 bucks with no statutory documents, not wrapping paper, statutory documents. So the PPP is at it again. Those people coming from New York, they're paying the passage really to come and to register, and they left them ID card when I go in.
But I must thank you for the education there. That part I didn't miss. Yes.
Yeah. Because you mentioned the census just now. You are hearing that Indo-Guyanese, Indian Guyanese, anywhere from 36% to last night I'm hearing 32%.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the PPP, you peeing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you coaxing yourself, because you know you don't have a built-in that if
Push on.
all of
Mm-hmm.
those people vote, even if all 32% vote, you got a lot of catching up to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not releasing the census thing, and the PPP is busy, as you pointed out, with the cash transfer, trying to buy some votes.
Mm-hmm.
That is why the voters list, which is now 700 and something thousand, we are hearing that the population size has dropped to about 715,000. It had gone up 715,000 people. And we hear it has come down now to 715. The last voters list that GCOM put out is almost 715,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it has moved from about 200 to 300,000 extra on that list. To win an election in Guyana, as we've seen in the last 2 or 3 elections, all you need is a 10,000 vote for 2 seats.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of thieving 10,000 from 300 is very, 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 very high.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the story. You know that in Indian community, you got Dindial. And when you go through the community, they've got but a Dindial, one name, one name and so
Mm-hmm.
on. And they are at work doing that. Not the cash transfer is not to Guyanese, it's to Guyanese voters.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 18 years and over, whether you live in Guyana or out of Guyana, you're a voter.
Mm-hmm.
You are a voter.
Yes. Yes.
They got them little girls in both the African community, Indian community, and the Amerindian community. We know that you got children, 16 years old got 2 children, 17-year-old got 2 children. And if you go through that demographic, it's a big demographic. But
Mm-hmm.
they're not drawing down the 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
They're not drawing. If you said household, then you would have to cater for them. But you
Mm-hmm.
say individuals 18 years and over, you're talking about voters.
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking about Guyanese families. Because we know a lot of teenage families. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, I send some people in me village, go through a street, they say, count them teenage family. They go through one street. They said, David, 15 teenage family. Just one street.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out. So as you said, this is not about helping Guyanese people. It's electioneering. That's what it's about. Um, Gabriel, you have been in the forefront, along with others, on this question of the 2016 contract, oil contract. And we have now in the news um, the suggestion that perhaps we should go to a referendum and ask the Guyanese people to determine whether they want the contract to be renegotiated or not. Where you stand on that?
Short and sweet, clear and simple. We should go to a referendum. Let the people speak. That's where I am now. To expand, the government don't say one thing. The opposition may say something else. It may be close. It may be far apart. The contract, the coalition has taken a bashing for executing that contract. 8 years later, the opposition PPP made hay with it. As government, it finds out that, listen, it finds all kind of loophole to suit its own interests, to not do anything about the contract. In the middle of that, you've got people, we just done talking about relief, right? Oil rich countries, statistically the richest people in the world per person, per head, right? Per capita. but we're talking about hungry people. We are talking about people who have to wait on the government for a cash grant. You can call it handout, a cash grant. We've had some before. Okay, I think to renegotiate, the referendum is about royalty and taxes. And some people have said, well, Guyanese, the ordinary Guyanese, they know what royalty is. They better learn. What they know is this. They may not know the specifics about how royalty is calculated, come out from the top or the gross or the net or whatever. All that aside, here's this. What they know is that even the idiot, even the ones that are not so learned, that if you renegotiate this, you come to this point of renegotiating this contract, we vote for that we can get a little bit more or much more. That's the objective. So I think the will of the people should supersede everybody else, the politicians, the leaders, the government opposition. It'll give the people a chance for the first time to have a voice on what they want this country, what they want to do with this contract. Now I hear some scholarly arguments about ethno, religious, classical, economic strata, so on and so forth. Very valid, very valid. But at the end of the day, I am saying that the people who are feeling the squeeze of living in the richest country in the world, the being the richest people in the world statistically, and not having anything to show for it, bare hands, bare root, like the village, here is their opportunity, if it were to be presented to them, for them to make a choice, yes or no. And I think that is what this comes down to. I would like to see that there is agreement for there to be a referendum. I noticed interestingly that your group, the WPA, said, and there should be some other things involved, included in such a referendum. I don't know if I'm reading you right, but I think the referendum needs to be separate from the elections. I
Yes,
think that you
yes,
can
yes. That
correct
is
me if
how,
I'm
that
wrong
is
there.
how, that is how
Yeah. So it's a standalone.
he's standalone. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think that makes for better sense. So I have already dismissed our brother Dr. Jagdeo, Mr. Jagdeo's thing about compli. He makes things complicated when he wants it to be that way, and still it ain't complicated, right? Let me get it straight. No matter he said complicated and he make it complicated, it is not complicated, right? So here's the story. Give the people a chance to say, and then here's the key, for it to be that there must be that the people have spoken, the will of the people have been expressed, then it must be followed through. That in other words, we must bring eggs onto the table. And I, for one, and I've been saying this along in different ways, if the government and the opposition were to join forces, and I'm not talking about shared governance here, we haven't reached that here, we're talking about oil, one issue, oil. If we can do it about Venezuela, we can do it for oil, and say, hey, listen, the will of the people behind us, we represent the electorate. We represent all the electorate almost. The will say they want this thing start over. And so you start over. I want to be clear, I want to be clear to everybody and to be fair. Exxon must make money. Exxon must make rich profits. But Guyanese must do way better than where they are. Where we can come to something that I did not initially endorse. Let me be honest here. I don't want to be in any way coming in later. I did not initially endorse Professor Thomas's numbers and his Buxton proposal. And in hindsight, no pun intended,
Nice.
in hindsight, he had it right. And that's, I think it's a good thing when we can say that we had it wrong. What am I losing? I'm not losing anything. I'm gaining something. It was what I would like to hear, if you'll allow me to segue, for supporters of the PPP to say, Vice President, Mr. Vice, you know, you got a thing wrong, you know, Mr. President, I can't agree with you with that one. That's healthy. That's healthy. So I think I had it, not I think, I know I had it wrong. So renegotiation will bring us to that. Not really, a referendum will bring us to renegotiate. I don't see how Guyanese, given the opportunity, cannot rise beyond, above the political constraints, the cult leadership ties to say, well, you know what? This is about me, my present, my future, and my children, oh, right? And sometime or the other, that I want to get out of this yoke that is represented by this contract. We have a contract where we have no sovereignty. We have sanctity of contract that supersedes sanctity of sovereignty. So we aren't a country anymore. So if Guyanese could get it, they may not understand that. But if we can get to that point where we can vote on a referendum for the contract, I think there's so much more that can go into that, that can make for a place where we don't have to wait for 100,000, and where we got to wait for some app to fix itself, and for some politicians to be charitable to us. I think a referendum is the way to go, and I fully support that. And I've written about 4 pieces on that. And I'm saying this before everybody, that a referendum gives us the chance to say, this is what we want. And if we don't, if it comes about and we don't, then we have enslaved ourselves. And you know what? We deserve what we get.
GHK Lall always saying it as he sees it, and profound, I may say. GHK, your closing thoughts.
I lost you there. I'm sorry. You
No,
faded.
no, your closing thoughts.
The audio became distorted. Oh, the closing thoughts.
Yes,
Look, let's go in reverse order.
yes.
I think a referendum, we can get to that place, would be is a healthy sign that our leaders really care about democracy, and that it means something to them to do so, to express this before the people, especially with something as pivotal as oil. Switching gears to America, I think that I hope and I pray for a Harris victory. I think it will mean a lot for America. It could lead to a resurgence of America will become great just because of that. America will prove its greatness just because of that. I think a Trump return would be a degenerate step. And to close this out, what's the other thing we talked about? Uh, we started out. Oh, and I hope in my heart that my brother, our brother, and I'm bringing you into this, David Hines, our brother Bharat Jagdeo has some work to do, and we, by these programs, are removing the scales from his eyes and telling him, brother, you need help. We are here to help you. We are here to point out, not to drag you down. So listen and learn and grow. And with that, I say thank you for this opportunity, and good night.
Thank you very much. And by the time we come again, we'll know whether Kamala Harris has made it into the White House. And we will have a lot to talk about, one way or the other. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone.
And thank you, the audience, for staying with us. I know it's a busy night and you all are going to go, but you had to hear GHK Lall first, and you are released now to go to your watch parties as we follow the results coming in tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow night, and hopefully we will have some good news. Last time the election was decided on Saturday. We had to wait about 3 or 4 days. I hope that we don't have to wait that long. I get in old and my heart can't take all them long waiting. I want this thing to be over tonight. Tonight. See you all tomorrow night. Until then, let's keep all our fingers crossed.